joining.
Yeah.
They're taping it.
We started recording all meetings, and most of us are in City Hall. So it's just.
No, it's great. All right. So,
Fred, would you like to implement this as well?
Oh, does it have a 2-minute timer?
is that a timer?
Sure.
Oh my gosh. Is that a 2-minute timer? Okay.
Great.
1, 2, 3, go. I think that this is our 6th year. I can't hardly believe it, but I believe that it is. So hopefully you had a chance to read our proposal, and I'm sure you did. And then in our little packets, we of course included our requisite eye candy. And so today we are here again to ask to see if you were interested in having us provide regional marketing services for the city of Port Orchard and for your community. That's really what we do. We support and supplement all of the other activities that you have going, including your car cruises and your tastes of Port Orchard and all of the other things that you do. We really feel that we provide something different and complementary, not competitive. And so in your packets, hopefully you saw, you know, our visitor guide, which we put on the ferries and distribute, and we feature Port Orchard. So, I mean, I think that what our feeling is that we provide for you, for your benefit, year-round, 24/7 marketing service, and for your events. You know, some of them happen in the summer, some of them happen in the winter, and we just make sure that you always have a presence internationally and nationally and regionally about Port Orchard. And so we appreciate the support that you provided last year, and we hope that you feel that it was of value. And so in the package you saw on our e-newsletter, to 15,000 people, we put you front and center. And then of course you're on all of our maps and materials, and like there's 4 locations for Port Orchard on our Brews and Bites map, and then you're also on our bike map. And then we feature the hotels in our, and these are like $2,500 ads that we don't charge you any additional money for. We just make sure that you're featured. And then this particular one was a half-page ad, and we had 4 Port Orchard events on that. In Seattle Magazine. Oh no, this one actually was the Gay News wedding guide. No, this was a travel edition for half a page and ad for the Seattle Gay News. Right, that's Seattle Magazine, and then these are all Seattle Magazine ads, $1,000 to $1,500 each, and then so we've started promoting the different events, so you're featured there. And then I just have something new to pass out to you if I could. This is a brand new ad that's running in October. And this is, I wanted you to have this in the store. I don't know if you could help me. So on the one ad with the chicken, that ran for September. And that included the Taste of Port Orchard and then Olalla Bluegrass because people come to the area. And the one on the back is a 2/3 page ad in Seattle Magazine, which is what we're going to be going to 2/3 page, because on the lower portion here you'll see this is a co-op of which the Downtown Association and Farmers Market purchased for $500, $500 to $750. So, and then that corresponds with some radio commercials, and that's in addition to their monthly. That's coming from their regional co-op marketing budgets for the farmers market and then for a downtown association. And so we're contracting and helping them do promotion. So I wanted you to see, so where it says Getaway to Little Norway, that's because that's probably another $750 that they're contributing in cash to have that. So, and then we featured this, we did our paddle celebration. We were really excited about that. Paddle Kitsap was normally a 2-day celebration, but we wanted to celebrate the National Water Trails designation. We're so excited, and so we are going to be doing it every single year. It's a 1-day just a morning event, and we are always gonna kick it off in the city of Port Orchard, down at the Waterman, and then it ends up in a party in Silverdale. So we provided this, we do all the graphics, as you know, and it got a nice big write-up in the front page. And then the other thing I'd like to just share with you about the regional marketing, we have, the city of Gig Harbor loves us, and this was something that they produced, and we figured that the Gig Harbor is really successful, and they love and really want to be part of the Kitsap Peninsula. So on their map, they put with a Kitsap Peninsula overview. So right here in their map, they didn't charge us anything for it, and they did a whole thing on the Kitsap Peninsula in their map. So, you know, Diane and I were sort of talking about it, is that, you know, a lot of ways, if you look at Manhattan, and there's a lot of communities and different, but it would be like not saying you're part of Manhattan. And we think that the city of Port Orchard does benefit by being part of the larger regional marketing approach and being a partner in that. And we hope that the marketing materials that we presented to you, these are a whole bunch of little ads that we put on our website at no charge to further promote. So I think for the $1,000 a month that we hope that you feel that we're taking good care of you and good stewards of the money that you're providing us. And we are working this year with the Explore Port Orchard Coalition. I've been in talks with Christine Stansberry, and in your proposal, hopefully you saw that there are 3 new initiatives that they're adopting that we've agreed to work on collaboratively, and that is on page, I believe, number 3, under key target groups, target segments, and key markets. And so we're going to be working with, and I mentioned that to Kathy, as far as working with the Cedar Cove and Adele, and trying to really take advantage of the new season for Cedar Cove on the Hallmark Channel. We're already getting requests through our website, and Kathy said that she's already booked through October. So I talked to Christine Stansberry because we've been talking to Adele since last year, but we just couldn't get anyone super interested at that time. But Christine said that no, downtown, the chamber, everybody really wants to do something. And Adele had sent us a map that she was giving us permission to use. So we're going to go back and see if we can't print something on the other side in partnership with the city of Port Orchard, and or see if there's some other things that we might be able to add onto the front of the map. But we think that's a huge opportunity for the city of Port Orchard to really sell that. So
that's all included in your request.
To working. Well, we're working because Christine told me that she's building in, and that's what we do with the Downtown Association in Paulsville. Like, they're making their lodging tax presentation next week, and so they've put in a budget for funding for regional marketing for their organization. And so, like, we just received $2,000 from the Paulsville Farmers Market to help them with fourth quarter shoulder season marketing for their winter market, because they stay open till December. So then so that's where the part of that was with this ad, and so they voted, their board said we want to give it to Visit Kitsap to help with the marketing for, so we're partnering with the hotels and HDPA, and so we've come up with a special little program where people that check into the hotels get a $5 special ticket that goes to the farmers market that they can spend, and then Downtown Association has a bag of special things that they can have. So we're partnering on that promotion, and that's going to be the radio. So we're working in collaboration with those organizations. We're hoping to do the same thing with Explore Port Orchard with what the activities that you're working on. So to make it as collaborative. And then if you want to do something like buy extra, the ad like they did, then that comes out of their individual marketing budgets. So
is this on just on their website, or is this
Oh,
in
no,
the
that's in
magazine?
print, it's print, yeah.
I
And then,
I missed it, I get the magazine.
oh, no, that hasn't, this one is just coming out October.
I'll look for
Yeah, I have to, this one came out in the latest one. And we have, if you can see, the page number is, because we've been so consistent with Seattle Magazine, we're working with them on editorial, it's really tough, but we get 16, 20, page 22, which is fabulous. We don't get it in the back of the book, which is great. So anyway, is there any questions?
No.
Oh, is it? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I'm sorry. That's okay. Good timing. Yeah. It's,
Yes, it's yellow. Did you guys design the map, or did you put it together, or what was your involvement?
Oh, with that, no, Gig Harbor did it.
Okay, I
No,
thought,
they just included us.
oh, okay. I thought
no,
you
they
guys
don't.
designed it, okay.
Oh, no, they contracted and then they sent it to us and they gave it to us and we went, oh my gosh. That they put, so I guess my point is that, you know, Gig Harbor is a larger city and they're sophisticated and they really want to be part of the Kitsap Peninsula. In fact, they called and we get 5,000 from them just to be on the website. And so she called and said, I just want to let you know we're renewing your, and there's no presentations, there's no billing, I mean, no reporting, nothing, because they have a different system. They keep all the money and then they just contract out.
they do it through the city, is that correct?
Yeah, the city just keeps it, then they contract with us, so that's the other reason that we just don't have the reporting requirements which really saves huge amounts of time. I just bill them, you know, a couple times a year and it's just really simple. And then they want a contract because they want to be on our water trails map and we're going to double the size of that and they want to, so we're going to make it so it opens up and then includes the Gig Harbor, but they're paying for to be part of it, whereas you folks are included on it as part of your lodging.
I'm Diane Robinson from the Land and Gardens and also a long-term member of the VCB, or is it Kitsap? I, as a tourist destination, know how important maps are. I keep getting stuff I have a certified folder there, and the maps are horrendous. I know people, they always want to know where they're going and, you know, where should I go for lunch or, you know, all of that sort of thing. And I go and I look and especially the big magazines that the newspapers put out, the maps are horrible. So when I see a map like this, I'm really excited.
But the coalition is planning on doing a map very similar
And I
to
think
that.
Silverdale just did one too. They do tend to be expensive. And the reason we don't do it is because we don't want to compete with you folks when you're selling your maps. And because we don't do any advertising. Well, the only advertising we do is Clearwater, The Point, and Kitsap Transit, and they basically pay the printing costs.
Well,
And then,
let me be perfectly clear. I'm not interested in Silverdale maps, Port Orchard maps. I'm interested in how they get there. I'm just talking about a tourist destination that I end up being a tour guide for hundreds and hundreds of people.
Yeah.
And
1 minute.
So you said Kitsap Transit pays for?
Well, they just contribute because we put them in there.
Oh.
So John Clausen, we have the half page for the Foot Ferry. So we don't try and go get small businesses, is what I'm saying. Is what
We got enough ads to pay for the printing.
I think that they do, that's contract, I believe if you look at that Spring Hill Press, and that's what they do, and they come into town.
Oh, they get the ads.
Yeah, it almost doesn't cost the chamber anything. I think they come in, they do the sales, they do everything, but the ads are not inexpensive. And so those are revenues that go to, it's an out-of-area printer, and you know, it works. For some people, it's great, but I think the other thing that we contribute for you folks is that we just, because our website is so giant.
It's the website. That's
Yeah, I
what it is.
know. We just, in fact, our web stats, I was like there were 111,000 in July. Visits, not hits, visits.
14 million hits, but yeah, we're just so, and that's really, we're redesigning the whole website. It's gonna be in probably another 60 days, but it's really gonna be just really cool. So, and the county gave us some money for that, and then we just got some additional funding for, it's a complicated website from Port Madison Enterprises and the tribes to do some stuff. But, you know, the other thing is we provide, and we, like the travel writer, we were able to bring, and then, you know, we featured Port Orchard in the China Airline magazine, and those are activities I think that we can contribute and complement what you are doing here locally. So we feel like we're just somebody that does something a little bit different than the rest of you, that we have those resources and capabilities, then, you know, to provide that service for you at a very affordable rate.
So if you didn't get funded the full amount, what would we lose?
Yeah, I think we've been through this every year. I know, we do it all the time. Yeah, it's, you know, what we'd like to do is figure out a way, because we've really kept it at a minimum, even for what you're doing. I mean, really, we would love to get, with Paulsville, we're getting 20,000, and they love it, and that doesn't include the co-op marketing. So we'd like you to stay at the 12, and then if there's, we're hoping that maybe we did go to the city to see if there wasn't an opportunity for maybe chipping in for some regional marketing funding for that, or a portion of this. I mean, we were going to ask for 15, but we decided we would go ahead and just stay with what we had this year, and then maybe make a separate presentation to the city council. Again, we're trying to look at some new paradigms, new opportunities. You know, we're working with the county, but we're trying to encourage the cities to contribute to the overall regional marketing with what the county's doing, because right now the county's picking up pretty much 100% lion's share of it anyway. So to answer your question, I'd rather not answer it.
Well, if things are going right the way that we all want them to do, the reason why we're here is we'll have more money
Right.
to spend.
Yes.
We'll have more heads and beds.
Can you get somebody to build a hotel here?
Yes, we need another one. So, and my understanding is also is that on the STAR report, our STAR reports that we get, overall lodging revenues are up for July 15.6% and 15.2% for June. And everybody I've been talking to, their lodging sales are the hotels in Silverdale, and they say it's leisure travel. So they're really excited, not government, which is a lower per diem rate.
Our time's up.
Thank you for coming.
Our time's up.
Sorry to
Oh,
rush
no,
you.
that's right. Nope, you're right. So anyway, thank you so much, and if you have any additional questions, you're always welcome to. So anyway, we look forward to working with you in 2015. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next year I'm doing fancy bags. And I'm gonna write it in fancy days.
Okay. Do you guys want to ask questions, or how would you like this one? Or do you want them to introduce or walk through the application, or? So, presentation's okay with some questions, or do you? Okay. So your concert's by the Bay, right?
Concerts by the Bay.
Okay.
We're playing the concerts part right now. Our final concert was last Sunday
During the taste.
during the Taste of Port Orchard. So it was really great. Over 500 people. So, good concert.
Seem to, have you gained in people attending this past year over the prior year? Al?
Yep. So you get more and more. We had a lot of out-of-staters this year that were staying in town, and recommended by the DMVs and stuff to come down. This last event we just had, we had 7 out-of-staters from all across different states in the country. So it was really good. We've had people from New Zealand, Germany, Australia this last year, Belgium. There was one gentleman from Belgium, he was a kick. I know where to get beer, so you can drink beer while you're watching, listening to music. Pardon?
Beer instead of ice cream.
There you go. It's a family affair. You don't need beer down there. But I think all in all, we had a great turnout this year. Everybody's always happy. Average probably over 400, 450, something like that, an average for a concert.
It's probably more than that. But
Probably a little more than that, but we had one, you know,
Weather
we
is-
started in June, and this weather this year has really been weird. We've had some windy, rainy nights, but hey, concerts go on. We go on rain or shine. So we let people, had bands call us, well, it's pouring like a Dickens here. You say, well, it's nice here. You're 20 miles away. You know,
The city's under a roof, isn't it?
that's right. You're under a roof, we're under a roof, so that's what happens.
The handicap
We have,
vans and stuff.
we have the handicap vans coming down from the nursing homes, dropping people off. We've had the access bus come through and just have access and dropping people off. And we have the family homes that take care of special needs people. That there's 6 girls that bring down 20 of them. They all have their little corner they get in, and they all sit there very peaceful, except for one. He's our dancer, screamer once in a while, but that's okay. Everybody knows they're there. We do have, thanks to the city allowing us to let people park without charging them, so that helps us out a whole lot. We do reserve 8 to 12 spots for handicap, because we have that many that come to every concert. And there's a couple couples that actually stay in their cars, because it's easier for them than getting out of their cars and going and sitting in the stands. So they just rather sit in their cars, and you know, we do that for them. We help them out. The port helps us out quite a bit, and I help the port out whatever they need. So that's why we're there. We take care of it. Their employees only go so late during the night, and I take over from there and close it up, change, you know, got to change toilet paper, we change toilet paper. Whatever we got to do, we do it to help them out. So that's helped keeps our concert costs down, and you know, they appreciate it too. I think everyone that I talk to that come to the concerts are really happy with the music. They really like it. We get positive feedback online. I get to see people in town. I saw someone today and they said that was a great concert for Danny Vernon, and of course everyone, you know, my girls love Danny Vernon, and they like the band. They like Greenbrier that played on Sunday. They really like that band. So I think it was a pretty successful year. Long hours, but successful. And we just started a concession stand this year, and it's to the plus side, so that was good. And the money goes to the royalty account, so to help the royalty out.
We even had one of your singers at the end.
Pardon?
We even had one of your singers at the end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
That's awesome.
Your Frank Sinatra night, the gala sang.
Ah, yeah.
Bethany. She was
So
great.
does most all this money go for the actual paying of the people that come?
No, there's
No, no.
also advertising.
Our advertising, we pay for all our advertising and ads like that.
Combination.
Newspaper, and help pay for the bands, and that's basically all it does. We just cover.
Bands are the most expensive.
Right, and we try to keep the cost down the best we can, but got to go with the going price of what they're charging. And
Well,
we try to
have
find,
good bands.
We've been able to make multi-year contracts with them, and they know that we're nonprofit, so they give us a break, and they ask us not to disclose what we're paying them because
it's only fair.
someone else
Oh,
would
well,
pay
yeah.
more. So
It's really good advertising for them too.
Yeah. And everyone, all the performers, I get calls all the time from bands wanting to come play here because they all like playing at our concert. They love the setting,
the venue
the
is.
venue that we have down there. They love the people who come to it and everything. And we've never really had a problem with the crowds, which is a good thing. As many people as we get in there. And the families, it's more family oriented now because, you know, you got the play area, the Schwabness built that nice park down there and everything. And kids be hanging out there, and the parents can listen to the music, and they spread out on the grass, have their picnics. And I think it's a great
And now
event
they
for
all
everybody.
know- They all know where I work and they come into my office. We want to play. We want to play. We want to play. I'm like,
No, I have to say I sent one to you one time.
Go
It's
play
emailed
outside.
multiple times,
You were
but that's
talking
okay.
to us and I'm like, you got stuck there.
Go play outside the office. She
Yeah.
loves it.
Set up, open your case.
Exactly.
Audition for you.
There you go.
I have a question. So you coordinate advertising with Visit Kitsap. Is Fathoms paying for that advertising with Visit Kitsap?
There
We
are
split the
several
cost.
different pieces that we do, and some of them are split and some of them aren't.
Okay. I would be curious at the amount of funds that you spend at Visit Kitsap because, I can say this right, because they come in for promotion from the city too, trying to consolidate maybe, or
It's pretty well split.
cooperate.
Yeah.
I'm not involved
Yeah,
this year in
yeah.
the advertising, or in the budgeting, but it's very clear what ads are
Ours.
Split and which ones are
and which ones
solely.
are Fathoms.
Right, yeah.
And when they're a mixed ad, we're both paying for it, so.
Do you advertise any when you go to parades and things like that at all, Al?
Do I what?
Do you guys advertise at all when you go to parades?
Yes, I pass out flyers and stuff. In fact, I even take businesses flyers with me,
Mhm.
and I have a board all set up, and people can take the information off the A board.
Great.
And now you're talking about June.
But I think Kathy's question
Yeah.
was, how much between you and Fathoms are you guys spending at Visit Kitsap?
That
You
would
know,
have to
on
be a
top of-
question to Sharon,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I don't know that end of the budget. I haven't
And
actually.
then we're also with the coalition, for that new coalition
Right,
that's
so
going
we've
on.
got, yeah, so that's
So
why.
there's three
Yeah,
It's
so
three.
we've got funding requests from us, we've got potential funding requests directly from the council, and then we have the coalition and Fathoms.
Right.
And I guess this is the first year that a little tiny light bulb went on, is how much total funds between all the organizations that are coming forward is going towards advertising Visit Kitsap, and maybe we can, sorry, this is sort of beyond what this meeting does, but manage that
Yeah, and
better
it
as a
might take
cooperative.
I think
looking
the
at the
first-
numbers
this is the first
afterwards.
time we put something on the board where you're gonna be able to see that.
Yeah,
that the-
Tomorrow with Explore.
Yeah,
Explore, okay.
yeah,
yeah.
and that's, we've been talking about that for 3
I
years.
just skimmed.
Yeah, because we've
I
talked
think it's
about
Because
that
I don't
before.
know what
Yeah,
those
yeah,
numbers
simply
are.
because we're a city with a very limited amount of funds that
Right.
we are, we're kind of not Jack chasing Jill on
Let's
that.
talk about that
Yeah.
with the Explorer, because I
Yeah.
think that'll come up.
Yeah.
I have one question about your budget page, which is, I can see, it looks like the advertising number is 6,500. And I can see if we were asking for funding for all of the advertising, but it looks like the amount is 9. So I'm wondering, what else were you asking for funding for in addition to advertising?
Some towards the entertainment
Okay.
piece.
And also, we need to redo our signs, we need to make a new banner.
Okay, so that would be
Yeah.
and-
marketing.
and
Okay.
marketing
We'd like to
and
have
stuff
a
like
banner
that.
over Bay Street, which is about $1,200, and
I was just a little uncomfortable if it said 9, and I thought, well, is that going to bands or is that going to advertising? So it's advertising plus.
Both.
Correct, it's,
Okay.
it's everything.
Okay.
I mean,
yeah.
We're trying to get as much sponsorship as we can, but,
I hope
some
the
years we
Port of-
have good sponsorship, and other years,
Yeah, it's hard. I hope the Port of Bremerton contributes. Have they ever in the past?
Yes.
yes, they have in the
Good.
past.
Last couple of years have been tough for them, so.
Okay.
Right, but they do donate their space to us,
Yeah.
and allow us to use
I
their
think they've been great
facilities. and-
partners. Yeah.
So we're kind of a partnership, we have a good partnership.
Yeah.
Fathoms has a good partnership with the port. They call me if they need something, it's usually them calling me before I call them.
Any question?
Any more questions? or- No?
Kind of know what we're doing.
Just thank you for all you do.
Oh, yeah, we appreciate it.
Can't believe the summer's over.
Well, it might
Now
be
what are
fun.
you gonna do?
Goes fast.
I'm gonna spend some time with my
It goes fast.
grandson.
I'm usually down there around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, because the bands will show up anywhere from 2 o'clock on. And we have one drummer shows up about 1:30 when their band plays. except for one piece at a time, and tunes each piece. About showtime is ready. Okay.
Well,
Are
I
you
have
doing
people
photos?
come in the store all the time, loving the concert, talking about it.
What?
You gonna do Fathoms?
No, I'll do
You
that.
gonna do it? Okay.
Are you switching gears for Fathoms?
No, I'll let,
Justin, will you stay there with me and I'll.
okay, I'll stay here with you.
Okay. Okay. Say hi, Mike.
Okay, sweet.
Thank her for.
Thank you, and
Switch hats.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you. See you later.
This isn't something we've ever done before, right?
Nah, we've never done this.
Ready? Okay.
Are you ready? Ready. Okay. The most important part of Fathoms is that it's been around for a long time. It is entirely volunteer, okay? Everything that we do is taken care of by volunteers. Okay, the number of activities that Fathoms does during the year is really phenomenal. I don't know what prompted me to do this, but I guess I might have known something was going to come, like my having to talk. So the Fathoms float gets so much publicity all over the state, and if there's anything to put Port Orchard on the map and get them to get into their computers and look up Visit Kitsap, that's going to be a good help. The scholarship pageant, you know what our royalty does, what they do for the community. And you'll notice in the budget, they're not asking for any LTAC funds for anything dealing with the royalty. So, but we sure get a lot out of it. Sure helps the community. Okay, then the rendezvous, that was something that we took over. All through Fathoms, you'll see where someone else had started something and figured they couldn't handle it because they didn't have enough people to handle it, and Fathoms got it. And it's still only 12 or 15 board members and 100 volunteers or so. So the Seagull Splat 5K run was the new thing this year. My goodness. I never would have dreamt it. When I heard that they were going to do it, I thought, well, that's an interesting idea. And I thought, well, it's going to do well because the runs are really, really people drawers. So I expect them to be in the hotels. I think that's going to be something that we'll be able to see. The 3-day festival, the parade, of course, where we, for a very small amount of money, we get what a tremendous amount of bang. For $4,000, we get at least 300 people from out of the city, some of them even out of the state. So it's just amazing what gets done with a very small amount of money. The advertising is what's important, and that's what LTAC is good for. That's what we couldn't do it without LTAC. Festival by the Bay, Chocolate Festival, which takes the place of Port Orchard Party. Breakfast with Santa, and helping on everything else that happens in town. So now, as you went through this, is there anything else that you want to talk about, particularly?
Yeah, can you just explain the breakdown of the amount that you're asking for and what that amount would go to? I think it's all
Okay.
It's midway through the packet.
It's here. Okay. Advertising, we do regional advertising, and this is the main thing that we do. And how much we're going to benefit by the new association, we don't really know. I don't think anybody has sifted it out at this point.
Okay.
But this is the main piece of regional advertising. There's advertising they put in the Sound newspapers, both regionally and in the Port Orchard local paper. We do all sorts of brochures and all of that kind of stuff. We send out everything to the vendors. The website is incredibly important, and that's something that's covered by LTAC. Okay, the signage. Okay, let's talk about the float. About half of the float is covered by LTAC, and that's historical. That has been happening for a long, long time, ever since about 8 or 9 years ago,
Yeah.
when the city committed extra funds for us to buy the present float for Fathoms. So I don't know how many people know that the $12,000 that went to buying and getting that float and the trailer ready to go was a city LTAC decision. Okay, we do signage, new signage every year on the float as well. All the banners that we do have to be updated. We add new things as we have to. One of the things that you will see on this that we have not included before, but we're really committed to, and that's that we're asking for $5,000 towards the fireworks. We have tried this in past years, not in the past 4 or 5 years, but about a half a dozen years ago, one of the LTAC members was adamantly opposed to the fireworks. Well, 10 years ago, the Bremerton Sun, as it was then, did a survey and found that at least 60,000 people watched the fireworks, and that was we've got 20% more people since then. So well over 60,000 people come to Port Orchard or come to the other side of the water to watch these fireworks. Whether we individually like them or not, they are a draw. They fill up our beds. We have the downtown. I know that anybody who's got a view has full beds, and if that's what we're all about, we've got it. So the biggest draw in Port Orchard ever, all year long, is the fireworks. And that's the main thing, and I'm committed that last year you awarded 10,000. This year she's asking for 17,500 or 17,750. 5,000 of that is the fireworks, and the other 2,000 is general increase. And I personally think it's money well spent. I think it does Port Orchard an incredible amount of good.
We're a year-round event. We're doing things year-round. We have Easter egg hunts. We have we have the car show. We do other stuff throughout the town, events, runs, and everything. So a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff too.
And we take volunteers all the time. So
for other
if anybody wants to get more involved than they are, we've got room.
I will throw out a little question, or maybe it's a suggestion. I think we talked about it last year, but I don't know if we did it out loud. I've always thought it might be a neat idea to have fireworks, cans, boxes, whatever, on the counters of the different retail businesses in the community, that people would just drop their change in for
We
Fathoms.
tried that, and some of the businesses won't do it. Like, you got your Safeways, your Albertsons and stuff like that. They have their own commitments already. And a lot of the other places are the same way. They already have their commitments that way.
I just was thinking, especially like the Pops, the downtown, and
Right.
even if it raised, I can see it
$50,
raising $1,000. Well, if it raised $1,000.
Well, yeah.
And in the restaurants.
Well, we did in
But
Popsa,
did you talk? Yeah, I know.
Popsa presented money to you. I mean, I know that it was hard this year.
Yeah.
And our costs, we lost the vendor who was giving us an incredible deal on fireworks. And he has, probably because he was giving so many people such an incredible deal, he is not in business anymore. So we're paying a good deal more. She says that it's gonna cost us $20,000 for fireworks. As what I heard in the last meeting, I think it's probably gonna be closer to $25,000. And
For the same type of show.
For the same show, we get $12,500 from WAVE. We've gotten, I think, $2,000 to $3,000 in other donations. That doesn't cut it. How do you get? We're in the hole this year, and we're going to continue. So that's why we're asking for LTAC to consider helping to fund the fireworks.
My concern is that I don't know that the fund can go to the fireworks. I think we can promote them, and I think I can understand the float production is part of the
But I think
promotion. I don't know that we can pay just for the firework itself.
I think
Because
it-
it's not
in other communities
advertising.
It does.
It's an operational expense of an event,
I mean, we can
Right.
look into it and we can see
Yeah,
how
I'll
the
double
best
check.
feels.
For
But
our-
you were
just for
saying
our
that we've
tug.
never done it before.
Our tug charge is ridiculous too.
Oh, everyone loves them, and I'm not disputing
No,
that
no,
we
I'm
don't
just
want to pay
saying.
for it. I don't know that LTAC is allowed to pay for
No,
fireworks.
understand
They
that.
need to check with,
I'll double check with that.
yeah. I think I've seen where other communities have contributed LTAC, but that would be a thing to check out.
I think one of our gripes is that, and I hope you at least go and ask Bremerton, even if they say no.
You know how many times we ask Bremerton?
I know,
Every
but
year.
you need to do it every year.
We've gone out and met with
The
their people
mayor
in
is
town.
going. The
And we've
mayor
met
is
with-
going with Sharon.
Yeah, again,
Yeah, they
Um,
did schedule them.
we've,
Oh,
And they went last year too.
we've gone every year for the last 15 years over there. Phil and I, we've talked to the merchants, we've talked to their chamber.
No, I mean, I
No,
think you should put it
they
on
get
your
this
application
beautiful
that you
view
asked,
and
even if
don't-
you give nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
They'll know that you tried to ask them.
Yeah, and we've been doing that every year.
Gonna set up smoke bombs on that side, so they can't watch.
Actually, one year it was perfect. They complained because the cloud, big fog bank came in and it was just split us right down the middle. All they saw was flashing lights and we had a fireworks show on our side.
That was good.
If we arranged to have the curtain come in each year, they probably.
Somebody was looking out for us. But you're right, it should show on here. And we'll make sure and take a look at it.
Yeah, because we have,
Other communities.
we've gone over there and talked to them. And they've got some of the best places to watch from too. You know, that new government building over there, all 6 floors, it's 25 feet wide and all the way across the building.
Well, and then you've got.
You can fit 2,000, 3,000 people inside that building to watch
Over
fireworks.
there is you have significant lodging tax
Right,
revenue.
they have a lot more
So
revenue than we do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you've got some of those, definitely those hotels on the water side benefiting from.
They're making money over there for their LTAX at our expense.
Yeah, and they just stick it all into that theater and stuff, so.
Millions of dollars.
Did they complete they already did do Bremerton?
I think we just cut it.
I think so.
Thank you.
Minutes.
And you know, folks are around all the time
We really
to
appreciate
help you or to.
Oh, yeah, you guys.
You know, the queens are outstanding this year, let me tell you. They would not be better.
They got almost 1,000 hours of community service in this year so far.
And you pick up the events that others sometimes orphan.
Correct, correct. That's how we got concerts.
That's true. They-
The Parks Department used to, well, we had it in the beginning, the first concert I lived
first year.
in was Fathoms.
The gal that was working for, who was it? Marianne Huntington's
Marianne
daughter,
Huntington.
was working for the parks and came to Judd and said, would you put your name on this, Fathom's name, so that we can get this started? Well, he did the first year, and then after that, the parks took it until they dumped it, and we took it.
They walked into a meeting one day, we had a meeting scheduled at the port. They walked in and said, we're no longer doing this, and put paperwork on the desk, and walked out. And this is after everybody submitted for LTAX everywhere.
The Wave puts in what, $12,000?
12.5 for the fireworks.
Is it possible to find another sponsor? Like,
We're working on that now.
They're looking
because
at it,
I
yeah.
would think that would be, I mean, a big one.
We've talked to him,
5,000 or
and
6,000.
instead of just solidly wave fireworks, we've convinced him that, hey, we need more sponsorship, they should give us more money.
And, yeah, we have some
So
good
it's gonna be a
sponsors.
co-sponsored fireworks.
And you always been contacted the county too.
Yeah, we didn't get any,
Last
Last year.
year, they did the Kitsap, Visit Kitsap instead. They gave all the money to Visit Kitsap.
yeah.
So their RFP hasn't come out yet this year, but as soon as it does, I'll let you know.
Pardon?
The county's RFP, they call it an RFP for
Yeah.
tax lodging, hasn't come out yet.
Oh.
No, I haven't seen
Because
it.
this is late.
No, it hasn't come out. I
Oh,
called
okay.
them. So as soon as it comes out, I'll let you guys know.
Okay, because, because last year, nobody got anything, they all gave it to one event, to Visit Kitsap. All their funding went to that.
We had other vendors, or other businesses, of course, Columbia Bank, for 10 years has done the Grand Parade.
They
And
sponsored it
what a
for me.
blessing that is. Last year, I got sick in July, and I did not get an application in for the 3-day festival that the casino helped us with. But this year Sharon will get it in, so we'll see if we can get something there. So that's another possibility of getting some more funds.
Have you guys thought of, this is an idea that I've heard, and I'll just ask it. I don't know if it's a good idea or not, but people wondered if Fathoms have thought of having their own fireworks stand and selling retail to consumers. Is that too much trouble?
I think you're going to see
Would that
stands
raise-
going away pretty soon.
Pardon?
I think you're going to see fireworks stands going
Oh,
away.
are they just not making any money? Or?
No, they're making money, but in the big realm of things of how fireworks are going right now, I don't know if you noticed that more and more cities are preventing them from selling them, from people selling fireworks in their cities.
Yeah, it's not happening here.
No, I'm just letting you know. But there again, you have to have people to man it 24/7
I don't know if it's worth
for the
effort.
number of days that it's open. I don't know what the kickback is on it. I haven't checked. I mean, it might be something we look at, but I know who's going to end up standing man the booth.
It's an idea that people suggested, and, there's a certain elegance about it, that they're buying fireworks at the Ghost of Fathoms, but I don't know if it's worth the effort. But I thought I'd ask.
And then you have to have a location to be able to set it up too.
Yes.
And those are all, as far as I know, taken. The prime ones.
But you know, it's not something to say no to.
No, I understand
Put it in the
that. I mean,
mix.
we can look at it and see what I don't know what the turnover
I think
is.
there are people who do want to help. They are not at the sponsorship level, but if there's another way that individuals might be able to.
No, that's fine.
Introduce their volunteer.
The 15th of September, we'll have the parade committee meeting, and so we're putting out notice for all that. You'll get notice too, Fred. Okay.
And then we have our annual yearly meeting when people come too. They can come, but
That's in January.
like we see on everything, volunteers are welcome or donations are always welcome.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
yep. And get to change chairs again. And I'll leave. See you later. Yep.
Thanks, Al.
Thank you.
See you later.
Thank you for what you guys do.
You're up.
We're ready for you now.
I just looked at these.
You're up, Terry.
I get 2 chairs.
Yeah.
You can lie down or put your legs on one of them.
Hello again.
I came up with a recommendation to fund everybody, but it was with a full amount. I didn't think about the full.
We've let people tell us about the program or just ask questions. If you want to give an introduction, I think we're very well.
Okay, I'm from the Saints Car Club, chairman of the cruise, and we put on the event once a year in conjunction with Fathoms, who puts on the street fair. And we try to put on one of the best shows in the Pacific Northwest. People enjoy it, people come back. We've got people from California that come up, Oregon, people come down from Canada. We have a rotation of friends and neighbors that come, and it's amazing how many cars. We had 480 registrations this year. That was up from 383 last year. And with the other cars that came, we parked over 700 cars for display. So it's a pretty good size event. And of course, as you know, it costs money to put these events on. So by the time we spend money on Santa cans, garbage service, buy our t-shirts, funds for this, funds for that, it gets expensive. And we have a budget laid out each year. And what I asked for is some help on the advertising portion of our budget. We advertise in national magazines, local magazines, newspapers, multiple newspapers around the state, and on car shows on TV. So we try to get the word out as much as we can, and everybody seems to be happy when the day's in.
I was very happy. 'Cause I have a store that you park 100 cars in front of, and I love it. It's a very good
Yeah, and we get
You
a,
got all those wives coming in shopping while their husbands' cars are
What
parked.
a day we had.
So,
yeah, we Ron, Rita, and Phil Cormick, and Frank Graziano got the street fair started, oh, God, 10, 12 years ago. Just to,
Longer than that.
just for,
Longer than that, Terry.
huh?
We've been doing it for 17 years.
yeah, I was gonna say, it's been as long, almost as long as we've
It's-
lived.
It's worked out really well because a lot of the wives don't come to car events. Sometimes when they're all-day events, as long as we are. Some of our cars show up at 4:30 in the morning. And so it's a long day for them. So it's really nice having them what few merchants open up and give the other people something to do. It's been really nice.
Well, I'll tell you, our guests were absolutely thrilled to wake up in the morning and see those cars pulling in. They were so excited. They had some young kids with them, and it just made their day. So that was just neat.
It's a nice event. It's amazing how many people come up and before they leave and tell us what a great day they had. And of course, we're always telling them about the other events in the city. Come back and see the Chocolate Fest. Come back for Murdy Mercy weekend. We got things all year long that we talk to them about. And their eyes kind of light up and go, really? We didn't know that. So we do what we can to promote the city as well as have our fun show.
You know, we should do, sorry, this is off the thing, but to give you guys like a schedule of events yearly so that even if the events are gone, you know that the following year those are going to happen, and you give them out with your registration stuff. That would be a really,
Flyers,
yep,
anything we can give out at registration.
Yeah.
that's a good idea.
Yeah, we've done it. We had a little glitch this year with the switching around to people at the Chamber of Commerce. They usually have a table also that we
Yeah,
support,
that-
but
yeah.
it didn't work out. But we always try to work with them as much as we can.
Yeah, well, we took lots of phone calls, lots of phone calls.
And our event,
But you know what, you guys gave us a beautiful trophy of appreciation and stuff. It was very nice. We appreciate that a lot.
great.
On your advertising, you allotted $3,650. Do you know what your main advertising is? I assume the Cassette Sun and the.
We use
local newspaper?
Cruising Magazine and some Weather Northwest periodicals, and that's about $397 an issue, and we do it in 3 issues, I believe.
We get very little actual publicity from the Bremerton Sun, Kathy, very
I
little.
was gonna get to that.
We get way more from the Port Orchard Independent. Port Orchard Independent put out a little paper this year dedicated to the cruise, and
Yes.
I don't know if you've seen that or not.
Oh, yeah, it went up in my front.
Yeah, we and Bremerton, the Port, Kitsap Sun used to do that, but they just won't do it anymore. And we've had guys meet with them every year and try to say, you know, hey, why don't you help us out on this? And they really don't do it. We had, I don't know if you've seen the article after the car show this year was just a couple pictures and a little article about so big, and that was it.
After instead of.
Yeah, for the biggest single day event on the peninsula, and that's all they did, so.
Some of them are really.
Stock
Well, it
in
doesn't seem like it's hurting you much not to have them.
Yeah.
No,
No,
no.
Advertising.
a lot of ladies come.
Well, what we're doing is we're using national periodicals too. Some are free, but some have a small charge. So we have quite a expansion of advertising that we put out. And what makes it nice is we're always on the second Sunday in August. So the people don't need to know, well, what are you going to be here next year? Well, it's second Sunday in August always. So we don't have to tell them, well, it's the 10th next year, it's the 8th, or it's whatever it is. So it works out really good. And we're also started putting our logo on the boater bags. That's what the marina hands out with the individual advertisements for the businesses. And we've been putting them on the boater bags, and I was surprised how many people question the marina, what's the Saints Car Club do? And of course, they go into the deal on the second Saturday, Sunday. And it's a lot of verbal, and it's in the marina people, it just kind of spreads like
Good advertising.
what do I want to say?
Wildfire?
Well, no, like,
Wildfire.
yeah, okay, like wildfire. It just goes from one person to the next, and then pretty soon you hear somebody else asking something about it. So there's quite a few voters that are interested too. Yeah. We try to do our best. We work good with the police and the fire, and we're right on top of anything that happens. And
We picked up another business this year too. The candy store gave us some things to give away, which was kind of nice. And every year we get a little more of the stores downtown helping us out, which helps.
yeah, Frank and I go around to the stores the week before, find out who's open, and then we put together a list. And if any of those places of business have a special or anything going on, we've listed, and then we have nine or 10 sandwich boards we put up around the town with that information on it, and then our DJ also announces it during the day, that you can get this at this place or this at that place, or go see the ice cream at the new store. Yeah, ice cream sandwiches.
Well, and I want to say thank you for how you put your proposal together. Your
Very
budget
nice.
is very comprehensive, and it is very easy to see. And
Yeah, we try to keep it as simple as it can, because we're a bunch of old guys getting older all the time, so we try to streamline and keep it simple.
Paperwork isn't our big thing. Give us a car to work on, we can do it.
it is because you do a car and work on it that you make this so simple. Thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions?
No?
How many trophies do you give out?
52.
52 trophies.
Yeah, we have, that's another one of our pluses. There's two parts to the trophies. One is our cars are not entered, and the other is that we have multiple categories. You go to some of these car shows, they'll have like 8 or 10 trophies, and the car club that puts it on has their cars in their competition, and they win several of the trophies. But none of our cars are judged. They're just on display, and everybody that comes is treated fairly. We have several teams that work in different categories, and they judge the cars starting as early as 8:30 in the morning and finishing around noon. And the people enjoy it. A lot of car shows you go to, 8, 5, 4 trophies. There isn't a lot of people waiting for the trophy season today. We fill the bleachers at the gazebo area. It's just amazing to see how many people stand around and stick around and watch and cheer for the other people.
Guess you guys picked the right name, didn't you?
Pardon?
You guys picked the right name for your club, didn't you?
Yeah, Saints. Actually, we didn't. That was picked by a policeman, Gail Dow, in 1953. And he started the car club to keep the kids off the street, because things were happening in California, and it was working up the coast, and they wanted to put a stop to those kind of things up here. So they organized the teenagers, and we still have a few of the original members. We've lost 3, I think, in the last 2 years, but we still have some of the original members.
Thank you.
How many t-shirts do you make? Do you remember? Is it like a couple thousand?
Boy, 600.
Yeah.
It kind of sticks in my mind.
So
It
looks like
varies.
You don't make much, or you don't charge much for them.
We we raised the price this year a little bit.
Yeah, we raised the price by, I think, $2 or $3. And we had more T-shirts left over this year than any other year.
So we have to revisit that.
Yeah.
And the other thing we're gonna revisit is we have like a trophy for bicycles. We had one bicycle down there this year. Kind of a no-brainer. But we had several, I don't know if you've seen the camper trucks that were sitting down here by 7-Eleven. There was some beautiful trucks. We didn't have a class for them, so we've got some.
You never know.
Yeah, you never
like
know.
ones that you can write on.
Yeah.
On the day.
Get your little etch and sketch.
Yeah, we just keep trying to refine it every year.
Some of the, you know, the customization plaque later, just give them the trophy and some of the little thing to stick on.
We have done that.
Yeah.
We've done that.
And then this year we gave a few extra trophies out that we had ordered for some select individuals and groups, and it seemed to go over pretty good. So we do what we can to make this a happy event.
Well, you guys do a very good job of doing that.
It's a great day, really. It's a great day for all the businesses.
Yeah, and
If they
people
aren't
in
open,
town
they're
are getting
missing a
used to
lot.
us, and we're not towing as many cars as we used to. That's another one of our projects, is we pay for our towing company to pick up any cars, move them over to a holding pen, and then bring them back after the show. Rather than impound and make people mad.
Yeah, because the first year we had people couldn't find their cars and it was a disaster. So we just had to bring them, we have Leo's Towing, just bring the cars back after the event's over with.
Leo's is great. He does that for us for our festival, our waterfront things too.
He's good at that stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you. If no more questions, I'll be on my way.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Good seeing you again.
Yep, good to see you.
See you, Terry.
Okay.
No, I
Yeah,
guess,
Randy.
so I guess we can walk through that application together.
Do you want me to sit over there?
Oh, you're gonna sit on the chair, okay.
Oh.
Randy's
Her
it.
hot seat.
Yes.
Okay, let's get real detailed with her.
Is this amount, how different is it from last year? Is it the same, or is it just curious if you have the same amount? 50,000?
You know, to be honest, I'm not quite sure what was asked of last year. I don't think I handled the application.
Okay, great.
Oh,
Okay, great.
Last year, 2005, and you didn't have anything. Which, and I wasn't around here again, as that's a question for me about what happened.
It's my understanding that the committee felt that, it's a city event, and they felt that it should be funded by the city. It should be subsidized from LTAC funds.
Yeah, we did the same thing last year when we showed up to, if you remember, right?
Yeah, nobody was there to present it. Another part, I believe, is they felt that it's a local event, it doesn't bring heads to beds. It's the spirit of the whole event, from my understanding, was the creation of City Hall to celebrate the new City Hall. It's pure local event, so they didn't feel like that LTAC funds should be supported
So
for those
where would
reasons.
the money go? The 15,000, if you didn't have, that wasn't from out of town, some of it would be 50 miles away.
Yeah, it has to be 50 miles away. And let me see, there should be a budget. I did. It was me.
So you are the committee?
No, she's not.
She's not the committee.
No, I was tasked by the committee to put in an application on behalf of the city.
I see.
So I did, and since I put in the application, I just assumed I was presenting it, so I kind of assumed on my part, I guess I should have asked the chair to present it, but now that I'm thinking about it, I just thought about it, so I'm here to present it.
Thank you for doing that. It would be nice if they, as a member of this committee, if they presented their application, it would be much appreciated.
So the 15,000 is basically to cover the shortfall of the budget. The budget in 2012 was 50,000, and last year in 2014, it was cut back drastically. It's being more and more of the funds are going to be just to support salary and wages and benefits. That's just how they have it broken down. Which is going to reduce the advertising budget. And let me see what else here.
Well, I don't understand. How can they, how does the LTAC pay for it? They're so particular about what we put our money from LTAC to. I'm thinking of other.
Yeah, you can put it on advertisement, or you can put it on, if you're holding an event, then you can use your operational cost for that event.
Oh, I see.
So that's where it comes into play. So we can use some of our operations cost to put on that event for reimbursement for LTAC. I mean, we don't do salaries or anything like that. Normally what is being submitted for reimbursement is the printing of the brochures. We have a trifold brochure, and I apologize, I don't have a copy of that. I think they all got recycled. But this is the cover page, and it opened up and it has a walking map of the town. And so some of the funds would be used for that. Some of the other funds would be to try and advertise over in the Seattle or throughout the United States to see if we can get people over here. Let me think what else would be money to be used for. I know there was talk and discussion about having fireworks come back.
But didn't we say we have to research
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, I know that we've used it in the past for LTAC, but I'll just confirm I wasn't part of the committee when they were being, or I wasn't.
It was a light show of some sort that they had, that it wasn't fireworks, it was a light show.
So I'll have to double check on
They
that.
did do fireworks.
Did
It
they?
was many years ago, and they did, I don't know if the right word is, they got admonished that was not a viable expense to use it for. It was for during lights and shines. It's probably been, 15 years ago, I think at least, when they did that.
Well, I mean, truly, are we drawing that many people to warrant spending $50,000 for an event that is lighting the lights of our little town? I mean, I think that if the city wants to spend $50,000 to put on an event, then the city should pay $50,000 to put on an event. Because that's just, I mean, the rest of us hardly, I mean, we're all volunteers, basically. I know the chamber gets a little bit of staffing money for the visitor center, but that's a year-round thing that's going on. But everybody else, it's a volunteer thing. When we work events, it's a lot of that is volunteer time, you know, even at the chamber.
I'm gonna stand up for Brandy.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think that's Fred, if I'm wrong, that's a discussion we kind of need to have as we go over what we want to do with the funding.
I'm sorry.
Hard for Brandy to be put in position of defending that proposal. And
I think we'll probably be looking at this spreadsheet, because it looks like, for example, in 2013, a certain amount was budgeted and then the actual was almost twice of that. And, you know, in a general way, I'm just wondering if it's because we just started accounting for it differently, or was there that much more labor? I mean, did something happen that we, or did we just start? That's what I'm
Where are you
wondering. You don't
looking
have to
at?
answer on the spot unless you know.
Across here.
The people that were involved in 1999, wasn't it, with the New City Hall? There was a lot of volunteer hours. I know there were the whole families of the council that, so there was lots of volunteer work that went into it. And I think, and now it looks like it's all salaries, or
Yeah,
most of it's
it's
salaries. So
basically
it's
public works
changed.
staff doing
Yeah.
lights, and a lot of it's on overtime.
Mhm.
But I don't remember, you know, the difference between the budget and actual for like, you know, it's, I don't know if something fell over and they had to, were there unanticipated expenses, or, because, you know, for 2014, it looks like the budget is the same as last year. You know, I don't know, it's just something to wonder about, but do you have any other questions about chimes and lights?
The $4,000 is a good figure that we can depend on though, as far as advertising. Okay, that would be the one thing that I'd be able to.
So for 14, the budget has dropped from 58 to 39? Is that?
No?
2013, it was 28,000, and then for the budget,
Oh, got it.
but it was
Sorry.
actually ended up being 58,000. And then budget for 2014 was 39,000. And then we're working on our 2015 budget, and it's my understanding it'll go down from there, but
Do you guys have a breakdown of the advertising that you are going to use? And mine's just not reading.
I failed to provide that to you. But, and I can get that to you guys.
Do you have some here, printing, maps, schedules, flyers?
Yeah, in the past, they were using Fine Arts Lithrow, I think that's, and then a few years ago, and then the last couple of years, they've been partnering with I think Sound Publishing to print the brochures. And that's usually about 2,300. And then I know that they put in a couple ads through the Port Orchard Independent and Kitsap Sun. The Kitsap Sun ad, I know one year they gave us a deal of 500, and then I think the next year it was about 600. And then I know that they put in some other ones. I apologize, the chair usually handles all of the advertising for the Chimes and Lights. So that's what I know. It's all local advertising through Sound Publishing or Port Orchard
It
Independent.
looks like it was also a brochure that might have come close to paying for itself because it had ads.
A couple years ago, we used to do that, but actually, I'd say 3 years ago and prior, they used to offset the cost of the big brochure by getting advertisement. In the last couple years, that it used to be the committee that would go out and solicit for those advertising. Well, in the last couple years, you know, to change over in committee, it hasn't transitioned over to that.
Who's the chair?
Councilmember Lucarelli.
You have additional sponsors down here. Are these people working with your committee? Are they members?
Yes, they have in the past. Two consistent donations that we've gotten is Amy's on the Bay. She usually contributes either 500 or 1,000. And then I apply for Kitsap Banks. They have an annual application, and I send it to them. And this year, we've already been awarded for 2014 $2,000, and then yeah.
And you have a lot of stuff that's covered as in-kind.
Yes.
So it's not money coming in, but it's in-kind services.
Correct. I believe Ron Ryder's the one that actually comes in and helps with the tree, the decoration part of it. Wave Broadband comes in and helps decorate the city like 3, 4 in the morning. What else? I know we pay for the tree.
Are you allowed to pay for some of the lights?
Lights, it's part of an operation expense, yeah. A couple years ago, we purchased Garland, the new Garland that drapes around, and we had some wreaths and bells, so that's part of what we spent a couple years ago on LTAC funds.
Would some of that just be ordinary city display stuff?
I would suspect, yes, that we would do that whether an event goes on or not.
That of sorts.
Well, it is a nice evening.
It is.
Thank you. We're done with chimes, please.
Okay.
So you're talking about,
Okay, now we're talking about the Foot Ferry. I guess the only difference is the amount is different from last year, last year was 6,500, and this year is 11,500.
Yes, and the reason for that is, it was requested by the chair of LTAC, or excuse me, the chair of Economic Development and Tourism is to include some, money for, marketing of the Foot Ferry. So 6,500 is what we have been traditionally, awarded from LTAC to, partake in having additional Foot Ferry run Friday evening, Saturday evening, Sundays, and all of the holidays. If there's an event going on, either the Bremerton side or the Port Orchard side. So yeah, it was requested that I add $5,000 for promoting the ferry. What we have done in the last couple of years is just kind of get it on Kitsap Transit's website, get it on our website. The city has paid for a couple of advertisements in the Port Orchard Independent or Kitsap Sun, whoever was our official newspaper at the time. And that's pretty much all that we've done. So it was requested that we dedicate some funds for advertising and promote it to see if we can get the ridership up.
Do you know if the idea was for a TV or radio, or when
I
you
haven't
got
heard
that
that.
figure, did she say what it was going to go to?
It did not, just $5,000 to include in marketing. This year we got a new partner, Kitsap County. So last year the previous year it was just Port Orchard, Port of Bremerton, and the city of Bremerton. And so this year, it was early enough, the mayor had contacted Commissioner Garrido, and I was talking with her and talked it over with the commissioners, and they felt that they can contribute to some. So that's where they, was it 4,000 or 4,500? So they can committed to 4,000, and they felt, depending on how it went this year, whether they would contribute next year or not. So I feel it's pretty promising.
Did that didn't come out of the county's LTAC though?
No.
No, they just do
That was nice.
I think they have a discretionary fund, and I think that's where it came out of. That's my understanding.
I know we're probably just tight on the Labor Day weekend going on. Have you gotten a ballpark feel?
I have not. I suspect I'll get
That
this
seemed way too early.
probably next week. Yeah, and actually,
No.
we've only got the numbers up to July 13th, so we're still waiting for the rest of July and all of August, so they're a little behind on their billing. But I believe this is our third year of doing Sundays. And, you know, the ridership on Sundays they're going up. I mean, everybody, it's consistent, everybody knows about it. You know, we're inconsistent in our times, but for the most part, you know, from 10 to 2, it's been available.
We were up there with our binoculars watching people get off a couple of times. Yes, there's lots of people getting off and on.
I can tell a difference at my store. I will vote for Sundays
Sundays,
forever.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Well, it's
Fridays and Saturdays are just not, you know, we tried it last year, we extended it until midnight. it wasn't, so we thought, well, let's just cut it back. Well, when you cut it back, it's even less numbers. I mean, we had one, you know, just within the 6-week span that I have, you know, we had one run that we didn't have one single rider from, you know, that 2.5 hours. And, you know, and maybe if we keep, you know, it's the second year, maybe the third year it'll increase, but I mean, the numbers are 4, 5, 16.
It needs to be promoted.
Yeah.
Not enough people know
I think
about
we
it,
do.
and that is the way it is. I don't think Bremerton helps us at all, to be truthful. I mean, if they don't promote it over there, nobody's gonna come over here. I mean, it's just, what about Visit
You gotta have
Kids?
some
Well,
draw
that's-
for the people that come down.
Well, you know, no, this is off the subject.
It's heavier when
I'm
there's an
trying.
event going on, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So-
The Blackberry Festival, Taste of Port Orchard, that Monday and Sunday are the biggest revenue. I mean, that's where we offset all of our costs. I mean, I can't tell you. I mean, it's like the end of the, you know, the last invoice. I'm like, we're gonna make it. And then Taste of Port Orchard comes in, and it's like, I mean, it's literally we make $1,500 to $1,800 just on that event alone that helps offset a whole invoice.
You guys need to get Bremerton doing something the same weekend you do Saints.
You know what?
Not you guys, but Bremerton needs to do something in
Bremerton
coordination.
don't help us out. Reason being is originally the car show started in Bremerton. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, we didn't.
And Bremerton, I forget who the mayor was at the time, says that we don't want anything to do with it anymore. So they moved it to Port Orchard.
Oh, lucky.
Well, now Bremerton wants it back, and we just flat refuse because we're Port Orchard Car Club. So Bremerton does not like to deal much with us.
Well, the Explore Port Orchard group, you know, is something that the city might want to think about for marketing of their events, to be part of that. Because, you know, the $5,000 that you guys are talking about could go a lot further if we did some group marketing with that too. I mean, I'm not saying all of it, but it would definitely help out in the same way with the Foot Ferry, is advertising it all over the place. Because our stuff's going to go on the ferries. So then people will know that the Foot Ferry runs from this date to this date, you know, on the weekends type of thing.
I think Fred put it the most succinctly that transportation is not ever expected to make money.
It's not a revenue.
Public transportation is not a revenue generator. So if we can break even, we've been that's a gauge of successful in reality. So that making that public transportation available for people to be able to get to a place to see what they see here.
And I send people over all the time. I mean, they don't know about it. I let them park in my parking place all day, so they'll go to Bremerton. They need to do the same for us. Sorry. The way it is. Does Visit Kitsap advertise the Foot Ferry? I'm
I
sorry.
believe they did. I believe it is on their website.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe last year and this year. I think last year was the first year. It's like,
We advertise the hours and the days too, or just?
I believe they link, we have on our page the whole schedule, and I think they link something that will go to our website. And same with Kitsap
Well,
Transit. They have a link that goes back to
I
ours.
have to make sure that all the Fathom stuff is linked as well, because there are lots of different Fathoms.
Thank you. Thank you.
We see you all tomorrow, and do you recall if we had a meeting after tomorrow?
We need to schedule that meeting because I need to, the committee needs to make a recommendation by next week so I can bring it, because council has to discuss it at the September's work study session. So tomorrow will be the last set of interviews, and then next week sometime besides Tuesday night, because we have a council meeting, you guys need to meet and come up with the allocations. So any Wednesday, Thursday, preferably Wednesday or Thursday, because Friday I release my packet to the council and the council's gonna want.
Do you have
A week from Thursday?
Oh, let me add it.
Or.
Do you have the agenda for tomorrow?
would be.
So I'm hoping you guys can meet the 10th or the 11th.
So we did last year, wasn't it all Wednesday meetings we had last year?
10th would be great. Wednesday.
Wednesday?
What's that?
Wednesday, 10th.
Maybe it's just like you need to have long days.
For our final meeting to come up with our final
Mm-hmm.
numbers.
The 10th?
On a Wednesday.
No, that's just board meeting days, so the day starts at 7:30.
Mine too.
Well, when are you gonna have the, when's the next, okay,
Thursday is
2, 4,
the
okay.
board meeting.
So you don't need it ready until the 22nd?
It'll go to council on the 16th, and I prepare the packet on the 12th.
Oh, okay, I'm just not reading my calendar right. Okay.
So
So we have tomorrow night and then
the
the
10th,
meeting on the 10th to finalize everything.
Well, that's work study
Yes.
on the 10th.
No, work studies on Tuesday.
on the 16th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it'll go to work study on the 16th.
Okay.
And then, yeah, you guys will meet tomorrow for the rest of the applicants, and then on Wednesday, the 10th at 7.
Yeah.
And then it was just the committee together will meet and discuss and rate. And I forgot to add, do you want me to add for the points atop for presentations who attended? Because I did the, from the applications, the points that were listed on the applications for your rating. So I don't know if you wanted me to adjust this form and do presentations, or if you're okay with
Seems
the
to me
points.
that the presentations just clarified those particular points.
Yeah.
And then who's on, so do we have an order? Is it going to be Pio Basin, Sydney Chamber? School?
Chambers at 7.
For these?
For tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, I'll have an agenda for you tomorrow as well. It'll just look like this, but different names.
Okay.
The chambers schedule.
So did we decide if we are using the point system to come up with the allocation?
I don't think so. I think
Okay.
it was,
Two separate.
it was discussed, and so I put that
It's a
together for you
guide,
guys
but we
to.
don't necess- Yeah. Some things.
Here's the other question I got. I didn't quite understand what you were saying about that reserve from last year.
Yes, that was confusing.
So we have,
Because we had
there's,
that, what, $6,000 reserved from last year?
2012 or.
Okay, I get it.
So-
yeah.
I didn't
So
see
there's-
this up here. I'm going, oh, ancient.
So the treasurer projected for 2015 that he would see $76,000 come in revenue. And then what he does is he looks at the cash balance, and because everybody hasn't submitted their reimbursements yet, but then he looks and projects what the cash balance would be as of January 1st, 2015.
Based on what they've done to date.
Right, and so he's projecting that there's gonna be a cash balance of 43,000. So what that cash balance means over the last probably year and a half, 18 months, we received more revenue than what he projected the previous year. The previous year, there was probably some funds that weren't, that didn't seek reimbursement. And then there was some of that cash carryover that was in there. And then I believe there was an additional, I believe it was $10,000 that the council had set aside, that they wanted specifically to set that aside, and they had a project. They wanted the $10,000 set aside for a project yet to be determined. Well, they never mentioned the project, because that project has to go back before LTAC, and so it has to start that whole circulation. So that's how we're up to now,
So
43,000
is roughly like maybe 10 that was held
from the
in
council
reserve.
by the council.
So the 43 is added into the 76?
It is not. It's in
It's
addition
not.
to.
It's in
So there's an
addition to.
additional 43,000 currently.
But it's projected to be 43 because this year isn't done.
Right. It's
But
projected
he's
that.
projecting that there'll be 43 at the end of this year.
Right. It
But
could be
there's
more.
3 or 4 more months of people
Yeah.
getting reimbursements.
Well, that doesn't include the reimbursements, right? That's over.
I'm sure he
already
took,
allotted.
if everybody took their full reimbursement, I'm sure he's considered that in, and then also what the projected revenue would be for the last couple of months. So I'm sure that's where he came up with the
So revenue,
43,000.
in other words, might have been higher than was projected for the
Correct.
previous year.
Yeah.
Correct.
Fred, could we get clarification on that for the next meeting or before we go into deliberation on it,
On what?
exactly the amount
The
that
10th.
we're gonna have available by the end of the year? I mean, because if we're doing 76, and we always understand holding back 10 to 15,000 so we don't have an overrun.
Yeah.
But if we're looking at 30, 40,000,
Yeah, it's,
I
yeah,
would
he's, I
prefer we
can,
would be able to give a
If you could
portion of
break
that.
down on that, that would help.
the breakdown on
yeah.
the 43,000?
Yeah.
Yeah, if Alan could break that out, because I always respect the fact that they want to hold a certain amount back.
Yeah.
We had a year that there wasn't enough, and that's being very, you know,
I think you said 10, was it 10%?
10% was what we did last year.
Yeah.
That's what we
10%
come
of
up
the
with,
allocated funds or
Six
something?
thousand, because we had 60,
Okay.
64,000 last year, I think it was.
yeah, I know it was wrong.
So we held the 6,000 back, yeah.
Okay, so the breakdown of the 43,000, okay, that's the
Yeah.
cash balance, okay.
And what he would feel comfortable with being able to allot, and what he would see as being necessary to be a safe reserve.
It seems that the more money that we get out there circulating, doing advertising and doing the events, the more beds you're going to fill, and the more LTAC you're going to have.
Well, the biggest problem we have, I say this every year, we need more beds. We really need more bed and breakfasts. We need another hotel in this town, because that's where the funding comes from,
Well-
and we're very limited on it.
Is the chamber in a position to do work on that, to attract?
Yeah, however, you know, we've actually lost a few bed and breakfasts this year. Even if we could find somebody that, 2 or 3 places that would do it, you know, mid-June through mid-October, I mean, the resource is there. We do not have a place locally to refer the guests that we can't handle. We're a very small entity in this piece of the pie. The Days Inn and the Comfort Inn are obviously the biggest contributors, but we need more beds to put those heads in. The heads are there. We just don't. We really see
Vista
that
Motel
demand.
isn't really
The what?
taking tourists, the Vista Motel?
I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, it's.
Per hour.
They're out. Yeah, I don't get the sense that they're doing a lot of
Yeah.
tourism.
Do they get charged though?
Oh,
Don't
yeah.
they get charged the same?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
As
every
everybody else?
lodging facility is required by state law to collect the lodging tax and turn it into the city. We just, within the city limits, we don't have.
Well, the county came through this past year and threw some wrenches in, and so some of the B&Bs closed because they just couldn't afford to be open.
When you only have 2 bedrooms, you know, or 3, it makes a difference. We're up against, we have the state come in, Washington State comes in and does an inspection. They inspect the entire house, every room, every nook and every cranny. They do an excellent job. I think it's about $195. The county just raised their fee to over $200, and that's just to come in and look at your kitchen. And so they're duplicating the work, and now, you know, for some places, they said,
Well, I'm going to end the meeting now.
thank you.
Thank you for
We're going to tear these down and we're going to
Oh my
stay.
goodness. My chair's
Meet them tomorrow, yeah. I didn't know whether you had anything else planned for this building, or this area.